Maybe something you haven't thought of, but how has the pandemic affected local actors? The film industry here in Ottawa has been doing great work over the years. I catch up with Kate Mensour. She is the owner of the Mensour Agency. She's been in this industry for many, many years now and understands the intricacies of putting together television and film. Well, a lot of her actors, of course, found themselves having to do auditions in a very different way. I catch up with Kate to find out more. Well, Kate, first of all, thanks for spending time with us.
It's great to see you, Derek.
It's great to see you, too. Tell me how you got into this industry in the first place. I know you're about to celebrate a big anniversary.
I was hired to work for what was then becoming a publishing company. And I was hired to do the administration, the grants, and the PR. And through that amazing experience, I met a lot of actors because we produced the only cultural magazine in French in the province of Ontario. So I met all these artists, and through different contracts after that, when I would run into them, they started asking me, would you consider being our agent? Would you open an agency? So I looked into it and I did it.
Outside of that, once you got in it, what really drew you to keep going? All these years later.
I love my clients. I love what they do. I love the actors, the writers. I love what they create and how passionate they are about what they do, and it's contagious. It's just contagious.
Tell me about the growth of your business, where you were, those many years ago to where you are today.
I started with a smaller roster, and it was just me. There's 4 of us now. But the roster, we've always kept it a little smaller than we could have because we wanted and hoped to be able to give everybody the attention that they needed. And it grew in the sense that I started just with actors, and then I started representing writers and masters of ceremony, and then I've been also hired to negotiate contracts for journalists, for directors, producers, just one-offs where they needed help with something. So that is exciting too, because everything is different. As much as it's the same, it's different.
How has the television and film industry changed here in Ottawa over the years?
When I opened, there was nothing broadcast really being done here. It was all corporate, and it was huge. There was a lot of corporate work, government work, corporate work being done, and that was the mainstay. And then little by little, producers started doing TV series, a special, and it just took off. And now there's more broadcast being done here than anything else, and it's fantastic, and in French and in English.
March 15th, 16th, we
the
go
Ides
into
of March.
Yeah, we go into a lockdown, a global lockdown. What impact does that have on the industry?
It's hard. It is hard. Producers had to shut down. And even now, producers, when they were considering reopening and getting going, there's no COVID insurance. So everybody's on eggshells. And it's it's financially very hard, and it's creatively extremely hard. For people that live on the theater, that live on stage, when is that going to happen again? When are you going to be in a room? Do you want to be in a room that seats 200 people and have 50 people in your room? And if some person sneezes, what happens? And this is, it's heartbreaking. This is everybody's raison d'être, and it's taken away from them.
Have you seen a situation where there's less work because of COVID?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's been less work. For the actors, a lot less work. For the voice artists that were set up at home with their own studios, and luckily a lot of ours work still came in, not anywhere near what it was when they could go to studio, but we did a lot of voice work during the first months of COVID. But thank God for CERB and what the government's done, because that's helped a lot of people make it this far. It's been hell. I think that the governments provincially and federally have a responsibility to make sure that the bodies that do fund the arts have everything they need to do it properly, and I think that can't be overlooked right now in any way.
What advice would you give to somebody that wants to get into the industry?
Go to school. Get training. Take every workshop you can take. Get into a school. I think training is so important, and I think when an actor has training, it gives them a huge leap ahead of the amount of work they'd have to do if they didn't.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think there's a misconception when it comes to this industry that, you know what, I want to be an actor, so I'm going to take off to LA and make it. The training
and
is
people
important.
do, but I think training is extremely important. Not everybody's going to agree with me, and maybe it's old school, but go to school.
Excellent. Kate, thanks so much for spending time with us. Really appreciate it.
This is great. I love the company. Thank you.
You're welcome.